So I'm not a great one for New Year's resolutions, but I do think that the turning of the year is kind of a good opportunity to mark a change in some way. So for the first week of this year, I decided to do a bit of an experiment with myself and with my impulses and my desires. So I had a week off work with no plans and no responsibilities for the first week of the year. So I decided to spend the week noticing and following as many of my own authentic impulses as possible. So normally, a lot of the time I'm very busy and I don't really pay that much attention to a lot of my impulses because they just don't seem important enough to help me get done the things that I need to get done. So for this week, I decided I would pay attention to every impulse that I had, no matter how mundane or insignificant or unusual or unlikely it seemed. And I began to notice hundreds of them every day. And so I followed as many as I could. Even sometimes I would realize after a while after the impulse arose that I'd actually ignored it, and so I'd return to it. And here's where some of my impulses took me, in no particular order. I bought a bouquet of roses for myself. I walked several woodland paths that I've never seen before. I chose a red shirt instead of a blue one. I read a Jane Austen novel. I ate my lunch sitting on a set of rickety wooden stairs sticking right out into the North Sea with waves crashing literally underneath me and the January wind howling in my face. And I actually enjoyed it, which, as any of my friends will tell you, is a small miracle. I licked a ceramic vase. I danced 90 minutes to an album that I haven't listened to in 25 years. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. After a week of this, I felt a real sense of having given myself this amazing gift. Well, actually, more like several hundred little amazing gifts. And that made me feel really good. I felt a lot more connected to myself, and I felt a definite improvement in how I was flowing with life. I felt much more present. And there were also a couple of things that I noticed that really surprised me. So firstly, just how many impulses I actually have. So from the tiny things like which teaspoon to pick up to more significant things like what I want to eat. And when I really made space in my awareness, I noticed there's almost a constant flow of impulses. It's like a full-time job just noticing my impulses. And it made me realize how many of my impulses normally just get overlooked or ignored. And secondly, although I didn't experience that much self-judgment, what did surprise me was how much internal deflection or devaluing of my impulses that I do. So that little voice that says, oh, but if you did this other thing instead of your impulse, it would be better for you. Or if you did this other thing instead of your impulse, then that person might like you better. And I was surprised by how many times I had to be quite firm and say, no, my original impulse was that, so I'm going to do that, and avoid the temptation to try and improve it in some way. So overall, I found this a surprisingly powerful experience for something that's so seemingly simple as just following your impulses. And it's something that you could do for yourself. So you don't necessarily need to wait till the start of next year or until you've got a week off life. You could try it today. And so I've put together a 5-day follow your impulse challenge to help you. So check out the link in the comments to head over to my website where you can get a day-by-day outline of how to do the challenge, plus a whole bunch of tips to help you get started.